I really thought that this was going to be the only sex scene that we get in the movie, but someone should really check on Tom. How's it going, guys? Thank you guys so much for tuning into my YouTube channel. Please consider leaving a like and also subscribe so I can continue releasing movie reviews. I love talking about movies. And with that being said, let's move on to today's topic. So, A24 has built a name for itself by telling stories that don't just entertain you, but sit with you after the movie is over. And the drama is no exception. Now, the drama is directed by Christopher Borgli and it stars Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, who play a happily engaged couple named Emma and Charlie. On the surface, the story seems pretty straightforward. Emma and Charlie are a happily engaged couple counting down the final days before their wedding. But as the wedding approaches, a revelation is made about Emma that truly shatters their certainty. The film pulls you into the emotional question. When you discover something unexpected about the person you love, do you stay or walk away? How do you handle it as well? At the start of the film, everything feels lighthearted and charming. Emma and Charlie, happily engaged, are sharing the joys of planning their wedding. Their chemistry shines, and we even get a glimpse of their beginning. How Charlie nervously asked out Emma, and how she revealed she is deaf in one ear. A detail that will later prove pivotal. The humor and affection between them feel genuine, with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson delivering believable, heartfelt performances. The wedding prep, from wine tasting to dancing, draws you into their world. Yet sprinkled throughout are subtle hints of Emma's past lingering in the background, foreshadowing a difficult revelation that is yet to come. What really stands out to me is the authentic dynamic between Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. They seem completely at ease with each other, portraying a couple that feels like real people, open, understanding, and natural in each other's presence. It's like watching an everyday couple with genuine comfort. Addison, in particular, shines with his quirky, nervous, charming demeanor. It almost feels like an extension of himself. And Zendaya matches that energy beautifully, creating a believable, endearing chemistry. The chemistry truly intensifies when the big revelation unfolds. Emma and Charlie, alongside with their best friends and wedding party, Rachel and Mike, are doing a casual wine tasting. Loosened by drinks, they playfully ask, "What is the worst thing you've ever done?" Mike kicks off with some silly stories, and Rachel shares a dark but still distant tale. Charlie confesses something lighthearted. But then Emma drops a bombshell. As a teen, she came very close to committing a school shooting. Charlie initially thinks she's joking, unable to reconcile this with the Emma he knew. But Rachel's reaction is immediate outrage. Her cousin survived the school shooting and was left paralyzed as a result of it. And the fallout of this revelation drives the rest of the film's emotional journey. This is where the real challenge sets in. With the wedding just a few days away, Charlie has to grapple with the shocking revelation about Emma. They continue with the surface level wedding planning, photos, DJ, such and so forth, but beneath it, Charlie is wrestling with trust. Meanwhile, Emma is forced to confront her own past. Through flashbacks, we see the bullying, isolation, and access to weapons that led her down that dark path. This film broadens its scope. It invites us to think about the complexities behind why someone might be driven to such an extreme. It's not black and white, and the film opens that conversation. At the same time, Charlie struggles to process it all, and it leads him dangerously close to an affair with a coworker. And here's where the emotional fallout echoes in a line that Charlie quotes from Freud: "Unexpected emotions never die, they are buried alive and will come forth in uglier ways." That tension builds as both characters face their unresolved pain, leading to the film's final reckoning. The wedding day finally comes, but tensions are still simmering beneath the surface. Rachel and Mike attend as maid of honor and best man, yet Rachel remains deeply upset about Emma's past. To complicate matters, Charlie's coworker Misha is there too, both carrying the guilt about their almost affair. When it's time for speeches, Rachel delivers a thinly veiled, biting toast dripping with sarcasm. The few who know the truth cringe, but Rachel never says it outright. The tension climaxes when Emma confronts Misha privately, fearing Rachel told her about the school shooting past. Instead, Misha confesses about the affair, or should I say, near affair. This explosive revelation leads to a public fallout. Charlie, unprepared and intoxicated, tries to give vows, but instead lashes out, admitting his mistakes and condemning the gossip. This spirals into a fight between Misha's partner and Charlie, and the wedding implodes. In the end, both couples separate, leaving us with the aftermath of all the buried truths. The film concludes with an emotionally real moment. Up to this point, the tone has been often comedic, not because it's been made light of serious topics, but through clever editing, double meanings, and humor the audience understood while the characters remained unaware. For instance, the wedding photography scene, the photographer joked about shooting relatives. Emma and Charlie cringed, sensitive to the word after Emma's confession. But after the wedding implodes, the tone shifts. Charlie, battered, sits in a burger spot. Emma joins him, and instead of digging into their past, they choose to restart. They reintroduce themselves as if meeting for the first time again. It's a subtle yet powerful close, suggesting that sometimes healing begins by letting go of explanations and simply starting fresh. One fascinating takeaway is posed by the moral question, what's the worst thing you've ever done game? Emma, in an effort to be honest, reveals her darkest moment, her New Year's school shooting, which causes enormous fallout. Meanwhile, Charlie hides his darkest act, his near affair, until circumstances force it out. Both secrets end in painful confrontation. It reveals the question, is revealing your darkest truth always the right choice, or can some past mistakes remain hidden? Both paths leads to tension in the relationship, as my girlfriend cleverly pointed out. Ultimately, the film highlights how unspoken truths can fester, and that honestly, though difficult, may be the only way to begin healing. One of the most surprising aspects of the film is the amount of emphasis that it put on the school shooting theme. It wasn't just a background tension for Emma's relationship, it served as a larger societal commentary. The film didn't shy away from the reality that men overwhelmingly commit these acts, but it also stressed that just because someone hasn't acted on those impulses doesn't mean they aren't close. The film doesn't excuse or romanticize shooters. Instead, it pushes us into an uncomfortable truth. Many of us may already know someone who was on the brink of such violence. And for Emma, it wasn't about some extreme abuse. The bullying she endured was more subtle. People mocked her appearance, said she smelled, but it wasn't overtly violent. Still, that environment warped her thinking. She admitted that she was drawn to the aesthetic of being a shooter, though she couldn't explain why. For me, that was the most haunting part of the film. The film didn't judge her as a monster, nor did it make her a victim. It simply opened a complex dialogue. Personally, I've never experienced any kind of violence, so my perspective could be different than yours. But the film, through Rachel's reaction, shows how personal trauma shapes forgiveness. Rachel, because she knew someone who survived a school shooting, could never see Emma the same way, and that's crucial. Reconciliation is possible. Emma and Charlie both hurt each other, but it hinges on their personal experiences. If Charlie has lost someone, then reconciliation may not be possible. Ultimately, the film doesn't give us easy answers. It just forces us to confront how nuanced these wounds may be, and how our openness, empathy, and personal history all shape whether reconciliation can even happen. One final point I want to highlight is this. While there is never any excuse for a school shooting, the film suggests that if someone like Emma once had that capacity, she ultimately chooses a different path. In that moment, despite all the tension at the wedding, she exercises real emotional maturity. Instead of succumbing to the past, she takes the initiative to reconcile with Charlie. And I think that's a crucial message. Even though we may have had dark past, what really matters is whether we grow from them. The film hints at a possible tragedy, but it never happens. Instead, it leaves us with the hope that even if we were once in a bad place, we can become different people and grow beyond it. So, those are my final thoughts on the drama. This is a captivating film, and one of the most surprising strengths is how it uses editing. The clever cuts and timing bring the moments of real comedic relief, which is vital given how dark and sensitive the subject matter is. Even though it deals with heavy themes, it is still entertaining. Zendaya and Robert Pattinson bring a lot of charm and quirkiness to the film. They don't rely on traditional jokes, instead, they mine humor from everyday moments which feel authentic and refreshing. But what really stays with me is how the film sparks conversation. It's not just a dark relationship drama, it pushes us to talk about reconciliation, but also about school shootings in a larger sense. I was really surprised by how much it examined these issues, showing that even subtle bullying or isolation can push a young person down a dark path. I'm really curious to hear what you thought. Is there something that I missed or misunderstood? Share those thoughts down below. We would really love to keep this conversation going. Thank you again for tuning into this video and watching me talk about the drama. Please share your thoughts below. Consider leaving a like and subscribe, and I'll be back again to share more thoughts on upcoming films. Thank you again.